building collapse, and 4 feared dead, 3 rescued, and many trapped. And it also have a couple of riders. Sanwo-Olu orders probe as rescue workers intensify search for survivors. An owner of building feared killed. Building meant to have serviced flats. The details of that story is on page 26, and there is a replica of it also on the Punch newspaper. Also from the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, Senators grill Keyamo over allowance of beneficiaries of 774,000 jobs. Details on page 2. And from the Punch newspaper, few quails resurface in Nasarawa, Abuja, Niger as marketers hike price. Also story details can be found on page 2. Amotekun begins interstate patrols to tackle kidnapping among others. Monarch denies villagers killed custom men. Residents flee from Ogun community. Details on page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. As Anambra decides this weekend, Saturday poll must hold. Our representatives ready to assist. This is coming from Masop. Details on page 14. IPOB also defends ESN over Anambra killings. Tackles Uzodinma. Details on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. And also from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper on foreign exchange. There is a special report here that reads foreign exchange variation boost CEO salary amid company's poor performance. And also from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, the Inspector General of Police orders probe of invasion of Abuja residence of Justice Odili. Obi Kubana in EFCC custody. Details on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. 21 billion naira new state house clinic to care for visiting head of state. This is coming from presidency and details is on page 5. Also, a replica of the story from the front page of the Punch newspaper is also here on the Nigerian Tribune front page. Residents flee over fear of reprisals as custom officers are trolling death. From the page 26 of the Nigerian Tribune. Court orders federal government to pay Delta $1.638 billion as derivative arrears. Police whisk away impeached Plateau speaker and 10 other lawmakers. And there is a rider here that reads tear gas protesters. Details on page 23. I'll be going on a quick break now to return with the details of the story. Just stay with us.
omi tuntun ti ru ẹja tuntun wọnú odò ẹtún máa gbá.
kí ló dé tóun tó dáa kì í kún ẹlẹ́gàn lójú. ìjọba ẹnjìnìà Ṣèyí Mákindé ọ̀fẹ́ràn ṣẹ́kárí mi ni. ṣùgbọ́n bọ́lọ̀ ń bá rí ọ nítorí àfẹnuyọ sùsìsì tí ń dùn lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ jẹ́yìn náà rí ọ. ọ̀pọ̀ àṣeyọrí lórí ìdàgbàsókè níjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ti ṣe. ẹ̀já sọ díẹ̀ mbẹ́. ó pèsè ọkọ̀ lárìnká sọ̀fin tó tó agbègbè iṣẹ́ ibi kárí ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. àfikún àtìròyìn lágbára fáwọn operation boss. dáyẹ́tẹ̀ ìwéré ilé àtàgọ́ rẹ̀ ó fi kún agbára ẹ̀rọ ayélujára bí òwìwí. gbàwòrán àṣẹlẹ̀ pàjáwìrì sílẹ̀ ńbàdàn commissioning of mobile squadron unit lágọ̀ọ́ rẹ̀ ó dáwọ́lé múgbòòrò ètò ọrọ̀ ajé nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ nípasẹ̀ àgbẹ̀ farm of estates lákùfò èrúwà àti láwẹ́ pínpín ohun ọ̀gbìn fẹ́gbẹ̀rún mẹ́wàá àgbẹ̀ asphalt and equipment níjàyè fífọwọ́síwé mi ni mo ní nǹkan mi sí ọ̀fọ̀ lóṣù péréte ẹgbẹ̀lẹ́gbẹ̀ mílíọ̀nù fún dènà covid-19 àbítọ̀nà dají road lautech vehicle inspection center ìdíàpẹ́ ọ̀nà amáníyà ìjàyè sí sẹ́yìn àtàwọn agbègbè dágbègbè níbàdàn ó gbówó oṣù ọdún mẹ́rin kalẹ̀ fún òṣìṣẹ́ fẹ̀yìntì àwọn olùkọ́ gbogbo ọ̀ọ́dúnrún òṣìṣẹ́ tí wọ́n dádúró lọ́nà àìtọ́ ló gbà padà tó sì ń sanwó wọn déédéé abẹ́ gbáriwo ó káṣù ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́ta owó tóbi ń san ẹ̀kọ́ dọ̀fẹ́ ó pín ìwò tún kíláàsì ṣe ó fa látẹ̀kì padà di tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àtúnṣe pẹ̀lú ohun èlò fún ilé ìwòsàn alábọ́dé lọ́pọ̀ bíi mélòó láwà ká tábọ́ ara ẹni tí ń pẹ̀gàn ìjọba Ṣèyí Mákindé má pẹ̀lú ọ̀bọ̀jẹ̀kọ ohun gbogbo tí ń ṣe lọ́wọ́ ní ẹjá jọ wò.
Ọ̀yọ́ State Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism.
Thank you for still staying with us. If you are just joining us on Alore Radio, we are transmitting live from the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism Secretariat Agodi, here live in Ibadan. And you're on to newspaper review. And here are the details from the Punch newspaper and from the Nigerian Tribune. Don't forget, you can also watch us live on our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Alore Radio, or you log on to our website for more information at www.aloreradio.com. And do not forget to like and make comments, and you can also share. Thank you. No fewer than 10 persons were feared dead on Monday when a 21-story building collapsed on Gerrard Road, an Ikoyi area of Lagos State. As of the time where this report was being filed, many people were still trapped in the rubble, including the managing director of the company, Fourscore Heights Limited, Mr. Femi Oshibona, who owned the building, and some of his clients and engineer. According to reports, there were about 40 other people who were on site, but then as at the time of those reports, about 10 dead bodies were being brought out, and before the emergency agents could get to the situation, a lot of things had already happened at that time when a 21-story building collapsed in Lagos. It's such a tragedy, and we pray that such incidents will not occur again in our terrain. Also from the second page of the Punch newspaper, black marketers on Monday positioned themselves in the strategic locations in parts of the Federal Capital Territory. Oken Premium Motor Spirits, popularly called petrol, in jerrycans to interested motorists and other consumers as the scarcity of the products resurfaced. Also, queues of desperate motorists were noticeable in some part of neighboring states such as Nasarawa and Niger. Although some filling stations dispensed the commodity in the morning, it was reliably gathered that there were supply hiccups which made many retailers to halt the sales of the petrol. And as we speak, Abuja, Nasarawa, Niger, among others, are facing fuel scarcity. And at the report that marketers in these locations have hiked the price of the premium motor spirits. The rest of the story can be found on page 2. Details from the COVID cases. There are about 74 new cases. We have 49 from Benue, 6 from Enugu, 6 also from Osun, and 5 from Kano, 4 in Oyo, 2 in Bayelsa, and 1 in Bayelsa and Ogun. It is still very important for us to keep to the guidelines slated by the National Center for Disease Control, NCDC, to prevent the coronavirus. Please wash your hands and avoid being in public spaces as much as you can. Details from Nigerian Tribune newspaper. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arrested a socialite, Obinna Iyebu, better known as Obi Kubana. Obi Kubana has been questioned at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja. He arrived at the EFCC office yesterday, and details of the allegation against the Anambra-born tycoon are still sketchy, according to reports that its case borders on alleged money laundering and tax fraud. When contacted, the spokesman of the Commission, Wilson Uwajuren, said he was yet to be briefed on the development, and earlier in the year, Obi Kubana made headlines and trended on social media following a lavish burial ceremony for his mother in the southeast state. His meteoric rise to fame has been seen, and he also features in some comedy skits. Which brings us to another headline from the Nigerian Tribune. The new national chairman of the People Democratic Party, Senator Iyorchia Ayu, the former presidential candidate of the party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Senator Bukola Saraki, all governors elected on the platform of PDP, and members of the National and State Assembly under PDP and other top leaders of the party are expected in Awka, the Anambra State capital, today, Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021, for the grand finale of the gubernatorial campaign. Candidate of the party, Mr. Valentin Ozigbo, announced this yesterday during a press conference, and he said about 20,000 supporters across the southeast region are expected to attend the ceremony. He appealed to media and other organizations for adequate publicity for the rally and warned desperate politicians to eschew rigging and other electoral malpractices. And also, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammad Buhari, has said that Africa's ambition of restoring over 100 million hectares of degraded landscape for productive agriculture is achievable. He gave the assertion in Scotland yesterday at the Climate Change Summit and the side event on the Great Green Wall, co-hosted by the presidents from France, Emmanuel Macron, the Prince of Wales, and the Mauritanian president. According to the statement issued by Garba Shehu, the senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, he says accelerating land restoration in Africa, the case of the Great Green Wall Initiative. The president said it was noteworthy that the meeting was tailored towards ameliorating the problems of land degradation, desertification, and depletion of the forests, ecosystems, and blood diversity in Africa as a whole. The rest of the story can be found on the second page of the Nigerian Tribune. Here again from the Punch newspaper, precisely on the third page. The Independent Investigative Panel on allegations of human rights violations by the defunct Special Anti-Robbery Squad on Monday in Abuja ordered that the remains of Simon Nwakiege be retrieved from the mortuary and buried. The body has been in the mortuary since April 22nd, 2020, when he was shot. Justice Suleiman Galadima led panel gave the directive after listening to arguments by lawyers to the petitioner, Uju Tese and Fidelis Ugobe, and the lawyer to one of the accused persons. It was reported that the victim was shot on the 22nd of April year 2020 by operatives of the defunct SARS in Wuse Zone 2 area in Abuja, and he bled to death in the police division, same Zone 3 of Wuse area in Abuja. Details of the story is on page 3 of the Punch newspaper. Also from page 4 and page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune, residents of Fagbowun village in Yewa South local government area of Ogun State have fled from houses following the alleged invasion of the village by some men of the Nigerian Customs Service. The customs operatives were reported to be on a reprisal for the killing of two of their colleagues by smugglers. The operatives during the attack reportedly burnt houses and motorcycles, ransacked the village and the palace of the village head. Some of the residents were also whisked away after many houses were allegedly looted and destroyed. According to the village head, the Baale of Fagbowun village, Chief Simon Fagbowun, who confirmed the developments on Monday, said these people who fled their houses had yet to return. The rest of that story is on page 4 of the Punch newspaper, and also a replica of it is also on the Nigerian Tribune. The indigenous people of Biafra said neither it nor the Eastern Security Network was responsible for violence in Anambra State, which stakeholders said could disrupt the November 6 governorship election in the state. The group also said the 4 persons reportedly killed by the military in Unobi in the Idemili South local government area of the state were bandits recruited by politicians to hijack the election. The secessionist group, in a statement by the Director of Media and Publicity, Ima Powerful, insisted that there was an ongoing genocide in Southeast Zone, saying it was worrisome that the international community and the rights organizations were not doing anything about it. This is coming from IPOB, and the details from page 8 of the Punch newspaper. Also on page 14 of the Nigerian Punch newspaper, the movement for the actualization of the sovereign state of Biafra has declared support for the November 6 Anambra State governorship election. This was contained in a communique signed by the group's leader and the Director of Information, Uchenna Madu, and Edison Samuel. The group warned the Independent National Electoral Commission against manipulating the outcome of the poll. According to the communique, the decision to support the candidates of the poll was taken after a stakeholders meeting. The communique, titled Anambra Election Must Hold, having studied the political, economic, and religious social implications of not having a credible election in Anambra State, and the political mourning that may erupt by imposing a non-representative of Indi Anambra as their governor. Masop declares that the election of the gubernatorial candidate, governorship candidates election must hold on the slated date November 6, 2021, and it must be announced, and as it was announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission that the governorship candidates must be peaceful and credible. These were the instructions given by MASSOP to the local government area coordinators and 3 senatorial zonal leaders, 310 provincial administrators, and all MASSOP security personnel to assist in effecting a peaceful and credible election in Anambra come Saturday, November 6th. Also, the Director General of the Progressive Governors Forum, Dr. Saliu Lukman, as well congratulating the People's Democratic Party for holding a successful national convention berated the party for focusing on 2023 elections instead of rebuilding. According to him, good enough being out of power, PDP leaders are to respect democratic processes, which raises the hope of especially People's Democratic members that the party is being reformed and their efforts should be based on rebuilding. This is according to the Progressive Governors Forum led by Dr. Saliu Lukman. The rest of the story can be found on page 14 on the Punch newspaper. And from the Nigerian Tribune, the Executive Director of Institutes for Agricultural Research, Professor Mohammed Ishiyaku, has said that the newly released Stella maize variety will save the country over 268 billion naira is spent annually on pesticides to control pests on maize. He also said that the new maize variety in Nigeria will expand farmers' option to either grow GM Stella varieties or conventional Jot Tego varieties or their local open pollinated varieties, just like farmers in other parts of the world. According to him, he said farmers in the country will spend up to 50,000 naira or more per acre to buy chemicals and spray against this target pest will get some relief and appreciate the Stella technology more in terms of higher yield and the savings from the purchase of chemicals or spraying their crops. And it has been estimated that about 268 billion naira spent annually in the purchase of those chemical insecticides used to spray maize in Nigeria and would be saved following the spread of this variety of beans and of maize. This is coming from the scientists. And let's quickly run to Kwara to pick this news. The Kwara State government has reiterated its commitment to create an enabling and more sustainable environment for agri-food system. Speaking at the commemoration of the World Food Day year 2021, themed our action, our future, better production, better nutrition, a better environment, and a better life. And Elorin, the State Commissioner of Agriculture and Rural Development, Honorable Sabayusa Gideon, said that the present administration in the state had ensured that food gets to the table of its citizens through policies and projects so far taken by the state government. The rest of that story can be found on page 13 of the Nigerian Tribune. Residents and leaders in over 40 communities in the Ibejuleki area have been urged to embrace electricity cooperative model being proposed by the Lagos State government to end 15 years of blackouts in that axis. Explaining the concept of Lagos State electricity cooperatives with the AFDB, the commissioner stated that the entire expenses needed to provide power supply to the residents of the affected community within the councils will be shouldered by the bank. The rest of that story is on page 19 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Workers to get affordable housing as Federal Mortgage Bank pledges partnerships with Ratawu. The Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria has declared its commitment to partner with the leadership of radio, television, theatre and arts workers union to provide housing for members of the union across the country. According to them, the bank is willing to partner with their union in mutual support and efforts at promoting home ownership in Nigeria, particularly via the National Housing Fund and our various loan windows. Based on the news from unemployment and insecurity crisis, the federal government has pledged to inject more resources and programs to gear up activities in the informal sector of the economy and further strengthen the production capacity of the entrepreneurs in the COVID-19 economic recovery plan. Minister of Labour and Employment Senator Chris Ngige, who said this when he received a delegation of the organization in the Trade Union of the West Africa and Abuja, further said that the ideas were part of the multi-pronged strategy of the federal government to create jobs and tackle security. According to them, there is light at the end of the tunnel for citizens in Nigeria as the federal government is seriously working on the case of unemployment and insecurity crisis. This is coming from Dr. Chris Ngige. Also, a twin of the story that was earlier read from the Punch newspaper is also on the Nigerian Tribune that Anambra election must hold as ADP SDP flag of their campaign. This crisis in Plateau State over the House of Assembly impeachment of its Speaker, Honorable Nuhu Abok Ayuba, has taken another dimension, and he and other 10 lawmakers were on Monday whisked to an unknown destination by security operative. Ayuba was impeached on Thursday by some members of the House, while others claimed that the process of the impeachment was unconstitutional and consequently suspended those behind the removal. The Speaker and 11 other members of the House on Monday entered the chamber of the Assembly at about 6 a.m. and proceeded to have a meeting at his office. But other lawmakers, loyal to the new Speaker, immediately mobilized to the Assembly as well. The rest of the story can be found on page 23 of the Nigerian Tribune. And quickly before I take my leave on the newspaper review segment this morning, buoyed by the perceived success of its national convention at the weekend, some main stakeholders of the People's Democratic Party set what they regarded should be top priorities of the new national executive expected to assume office in December. Stakeholders set agenda for new PDP leadership for year 2023, and according to Elumelu, PDP is ready to regain power in year 2023, and APC administration is worse in Nigeria history. This is coming from Governor Sam Otom of Benue State, also a governor under the banner of People's Democratic Party. Okay, news from the Sports and Corner from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. World Cup qualifiers. Igalo has been listed for Cape Verde Liberia games, despite the fact that Igalo has left the Nigerian football pitch from 2019. General, the coach of the Nigerian Super Eagles, has called on him again to come for the match that would make Nigeria qualify for the World Cup game of year 2022 in Qatar. And also, Ejike, rated world's third best dribbler. Nigeria international Chidera Ejike has been rated as the third best dribbler in the world according to CIES Football Observation latest ranking. Details of that page of the story is on 31st page of the Nigerian Tribune. Osimhen scores as Dante beats Sokoto United. And also, Pogba may feature against Atlanta despite domestic ban. Recall that the Manchester United have a couple of players to access before Tuesdays. That means today's Champions League game at Atlanta, says their coach. The United boss did not identify the players, but did not appear too concerned about their chances. Paul Pogba, who is currently serving a domestic ban for his red card against Liverpool, is also likely to feature. We were looking all right in the training session this morning. Everyone was around, according to their coach. And there were a couple of little twinges in the session, but he does not think it will affect them. Well, good luck to the Manchester United fans as they continue in the Champions League game today. Alright, this is where we draw the curtain on the newspaper review segment today. Join our colleagues tomorrow for another session of it kickstarting by 9 a.m. Meanwhile, all other programs are still coming up on Alore Radio. We are live at the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism Secretariat, Agodi, Ibadan. Do not forget to visit our mobile application. You can download it on Android Play Store at Alore Radio and on Facebook at www.aloreradio.com. On YouTube, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel also to have a recap of many of our programs. Do not forget to like, make a comment, and do share. Thank you very much for joining. I am Taiwo Olaniyan.